Hey guys, this is Wilsco here bringing you another Photoshop CS5 tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create basic 3D text with just Photoshop instead of using Cinema 4D and other programs like that if you're unsure of how to use those and whatnot. This is a very simple way that I've been doing it for a long time before getting into Cinema 4D and actually creating real 3D text. So what we're going to do is I've already opened a canvas to work on. So I'm just going to choose like a random color in here. So I'll choose this orange. Same font from the last tutorial. We'll have it say Volsco again. But this time I'm going to space the letters out a little bit. For spacing letters you can use this set its tracking. So you just like set the tracking. You can also use like the actual width, but it kind of deforms the letters a little bit when you use that, so I usually keep that at 100 and use this one. So we'll say 100. So close that out. Now what you do here is duplicate this layer once. Up here you can see duplicate. You can keep this the same, or you can like rename it to black, because that's what it will be in a minute. So you have the layer black, and you double click on it, and as you can see it's the same layer just under it. Same text, same everything. So double click on this and make it an almost black, not quite. You never want to use black completely on any piece of work, in my opinion. So what we're going to do is drag and drop this layer below. Just left click and drop it below. You can see a little black line pops up. Now on your keyboard you're going to hit the right key and then left key, arrow keys, and that'll bring it down. You can see this slight black in the background. Now what you're going to do is hold down Alt and then just keep pressing the right and left key, and this will create more and more layers, which will lead to a deeper shadow. Now this is a technique I've been using for a while. It doesn't work the best, but if you're really desperate for 3D text in Photoshop and you have no idea how to use any sort of Cinema 4D stuff, I mean, it's only on a 120-degree angle. There's no real depth to it, really, but I mean, it works if you're, really want it. So what we're going to do now is select all the layers below this layer and above this layer. So black copy through black copy 14. Now you may have a different number of copies depending on how many times you held down Alt and then moved your arrow keys down and to the right or down and to the left, or you can go whichever way you want with the black. It doesn't have to be down and to the right, but I just use the arrow keys for that. So what we're going to do is right click on this top layer. You can right click anywhere in the blue, but I click on the top, and we're going to select rasterize type. So that will make all the layers uneditable to change the text. So if you're going to edit the text, then I suggest you do the rasterizing last, and even the duplicating last. That's like the last thing you would do. So then click that layer, this layer. You should have all these layers in between, this layer too. And then right click on it and merge. Now this will give you the basic 3D. You can see how it's like, yeah, it's 3D. You can move it anywhere, woohoo. But we're going to keep it right there. So now what you're going to do is take this layer, blending options. Now this is where you can really toy with your settings of what you want to see and what you want other people to see as your final product. One thing I usually do is just add a slight drop shadow, and then I always turn off global light. It's just like a habit of mine. But I lower the size to like 1 or 2 and distance is 0. That way it just gives it a little like fluff, I guess, around the outside, so it doesn't look as jagged. As you can see on the V, it's still a little bit jagged, but there's nothing you can really do about that. And usually I apply that. So then I use inner shadow, and this is where stuff does kind of get complicated. These are some settings I've been using for a long time, so I kind of know what to set them as. For size, set it as 1 or 0, and then for distance, set it as 1. And then, since you're on a black layer, overlay will never show up on a black layer. So change it to normal, and then white. Now, what you're going to do is you're gonna have to play with the size a little bit, but you can see along the sides here how it's getting that glossy top finish to it, and it doesn't work as well for this text, but you can always, change text or do whatever in the beginning before you get to this step. Now I'm just gonna stick with this and then raise this up a little bit. So you can see it's getting that gloss effect right there, and then since that's really bright, we're just going to lower it down a little bit. And it kind of gives the bevel and emboss effect, I guess, but it's a little more defined. And then for the text, you can just play with whatever settings you want here and mess around, just make this overlay and, rasterize, flip, not rasterize, what am I talking about? You can set it to reflected so it reflects from the middle and gives that crazy effect there. I mean, there's so much you can do. Another gloss effect that I found that I didn't show you guys on the last tutorial was it doesn't work as well for this because of the S, but when you have all boldface letters that don't have intersection, like see how this has the S and it goes through here and stuff like that, you could use a white overlay like this or the white normal, and it'll give you like the same effect, but it doesn't work for this, obviously. I'm just showing you guys. It kind of gives you that same effect and goes along with the text from the beginning, so that's pretty cool, but it doesn't exactly work for this. So we'll just keep it as that and keep it at like 1, something like that. So you have that nice effect. You can always turn off effects through this if you don't like what it produced for you. And if you keep distance at 0 for the drop shadow on the black bevel or 3D text or whatever, it'll keep that shadow going all the way around this outside edge where you originally had text, because you just duplicated the layer, so it's still there. So if you want to move it away from that, you can always use the distance and then change this to 120, because that's what you duplicated the layer at when you held down Alt. So if you have like this, then I mean it's still going to show up eventually just because of size, but you can move this around if you want to have it like, I don't know, down here, if you have some sort of crazy effect that you're trying to pull off. And of course you can change opacity or whatever it's called and make it, deep, dark, whatever, or if you just want it like a thinner or lighter shadow so it doesn't affect it as much. And then you can edit, if you want to like switch sides after you finish the whole thing, you can edit, transform, flip horizontal, and that didn't work as I thought it would. So you can change it like this, I suppose, but it doesn't look that great. You can just mess around, do whatever. You really have to experiment. You can make it come from the middle. It doesn't look as good. It looks more like a border than anything. But if you're coming from the edge like this, it looks pretty nice, and you can edit or do whatever you want with it later. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more tutorials.